Hello and welcome to today's episode of Rawkode Live. This is the special Klustered edition, part 2. We are going to be attempting to fix some broken Kubernetes clusters. These Kubernetes clusters are broken by friends, colleagues, and members of the community. We have 2 clusters today, and to help me fix them, I am going to be joined by my friend and colleague, Dan Finneran. Hey Dan, how's it going?
It's going well, thank you very much. I am very excited and also slightly nervous for today, but it should be fun.
It will definitely be fun. Whether it will be successful, we'll have yet to see. To the people watching us and joining us at home, please remember to subscribe and click the bell on YouTube. It helps other people find these videos. And we have a Discord chat which will be visible throughout our session. Feel free to jump in and join us there. Now, why don't we just start with a quick introduction then, Dan? Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll take a look at last week's clusters.
Excellent. Yeah, so my name is Dan Finneran. I am part of Equinix Metal, part of the developer relations engineering team. Spend a lot of my time in Kubernetes clusters or in the container space. I come to Equinix Metal from Heptio VMware, and prior to that I was at Docker. So I'm hoping through that I've accrued some knowledge that may help me today. I feel a little bit as though this is punishment for being mean last week with breaking my cluster. But yeah, I'm excited.
Well, why don't we quickly talk about that then? So we actually have our first comment from none other than Walid himself, who says, "Hey Dan." Hey Walid, thank you for joining us again.
I'm going to get you.
Well, let's cover what happened last week then. I've got the repository up, so we want this to be a valuable learning resource as well as entertaining for the people that are watching and following along. So what we're going to try and do week after week as we air new episodes of Klustered is just publish the manifest that we use to create the clusters using Kluster API on Equinix Metal. But also, we're going to try and document what went wrong, what the symptoms were, and then we've also going to have each of the breakers just contribute and tell us what actually happened. So, Walid joined me last week. Walid and I were on Team Fix. Our clusters were broken by Lee Briggs of Pulumi and Dan, who is with me now. You'll see there's a README in each of these. We can see that cluster 1 from Lee had a small typo in the CNI/Cilium configuration, which broke networking on the cluster. We discovered the symptom was that our Cilium agents were in clash loop backoff. We actually missed that. I'm not sure how. I'm going to blame Tmux, so we're not using it today. And scrolling on Tmux is just not something I was good at. Anyway, we managed to fix it, so that was good. It took us 25 minutes. It was good fun. Thank you very much, Lee. And then there's the novel that is Dan's cluster. So discovered symptoms. We worked out, well, first and foremost, SSH wasn't running on the standard port. I mean, that was just a major fuck you right from the start, Dan. Come on. I spent 10 minutes trying to work out how to get on the thing. And fortunately, you were joining us and left us a comment to help us out. So we did get on the port. I should have guessed. But again, you get those blinker days when you've got people watching over your shoulder. We had an unresponsive API server. It was in crash loop backoff. We discovered a few contributing factors, which we've documented, and then Dan very kindly provided all of the foobar he applied to that cluster. So lots of interesting stuff for there to debug and fix.
I went a little bit crazy, I think. A lot of it is kind of issues that I tend to do when I'm kind of quickly throwing things up, though, like building a machine that by default has swap enabled, turning swap off, installing Kubernetes, and then rebooting, and then the kubelet is basically like, well, I'm not started because swap's enabled. So I kind of reverted it back to the sort of issues that I create for myself.
What I think what I loved and hated at the same time about everything that you broke as well is you didn't just do it on the control plane nodes, you actually replicated it to every node in the cluster, which made fixing it all the more painful. But it was good.
Yeah,
it was good.
Yeah, one of the issues I think was interesting, I guess I hadn't really considered it, was that once etcd got to three nodes as part of its configuration, breaking that meant that etcd would never actually reach quorum. So fixing the first node still left you in a point where nothing was actually working.
Yep. All right.
Sorry.
But that was last week. Walid, thanks for joining us today. Thanks for joining me last week. It was a whole lot of fun. in fact, Walid just said, no, don't worry, Dan, it was fun, which just leads. I'm curious to see what Walid is one of our breakers today. So a couple more highs. Hi, Benzidan, nice to see you. Hey, Mark, how's it going? Good to see you. Of course, we've got Nuno. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, awesome. Oh, sorry, Frank, I missed you. There we go. There's all the hellos done. Feel free to jump into Discord or use YouTube comments as we go. We will definitely appreciate the help. This is a little difficult at times. All right, so we're not using Tmux today. I have been slightly more prepared, and I want us to be able to still have that Tmux flexibility or teammate functionality where we can actually share terminal and type together, but with actual decent scrolling. So today we're using teleport, which means we have an SSH connection open on our first node. We've ran PS to make sure it works. Dan has the same on his side. Dan, type hello.
1 second.
Oh, you've lost the window. Should have warned you. There we go. So we're going to try and take it a little bit slower and methodologically. I'm Scottish. I can't say that big word.
Methodically.
Methodically. Thank you. Try and fix this together. Trying to follow each other's hypotheses and really explain what we're thinking as we go. Mm-hmm. So, I guess really what we want to do first, and I'm going to jump to my local terminal first, just because I do have a kube config there, and I'm going to run just to get nodes. I mean, that's the best way to get started, isn't it? We're on cluster. Yeah. We're on cluster 3. This was broken by one of our colleagues, Jason DeTiberus. Does that strike fear into you a little bit?
It does. I'm intrigued. I know he is well into the internals of Kubernetes, so I don't know what he may or may not have done, but I guess it's time to try and find out. As you mentioned, I guess approaching this methodically, so we'll kind of test from outside in by effectively poking it from the outside, seeing what works, what doesn't work, and then starting to go layer by layer until we hopefully find out what he's done.
Nice. All right, let's just tackle a few more hellos and we'll get started. Walid asked if we have etcd backups. Let's fill him in with
That's
confidence.
Terrifying.
Alex is joining us. Anais, you're definitely not too late for hellos. Thanks for joining us. And Sandy Blamba. Hey. All right, let's fix some stuff. So one thing I got stuck on last week is I didn't realize that get component statuses was actually deprecated. So this is, well, I'm on the wrong kube config. Whew. Gave myself a heart attack already.
Already.
Well, it's not responding anyway. Oh, yeah. No, we're okay. It's just a little bit slower. I can't remember where I stuck this cluster, actually. I think maybe in Chicago. So there might be a little bit of latency, but teleport will fix that. Anyway, component statuses was a red herring last week. This has been deprecated for a few releases I've now found out, so we can ignore those errors. And I'm really happy that we even got a response anyway. We can even run a get nodes. So that's a healthy start.
This is worrying, though. This is where you immediately start tripping yourself up and thinking we're on an easy street.
Yeah, it's definitely got that vibe to it. Okay, so that we can type together, I guess the best thing for us to do is just export a kube config here. Use the admin token. Make sure we can still get nodes. Okay, so I'm going to I'll let you type for a little bit. Why don't you do a little bit of exploration and see if we can find our first symptom.
So these have something running on them, don't they?
There is a WordPress workload that runs on all clusters, which we should be able to. I can port forward to it locally and browse to it if you want, or you can hit curl, whatever you feel like. But you should be able to hit that IP on port 80, or I guess you can use the node port there if you want to do localhost in 30314, or do that. Oh, I forgot I configured load balancing. Cool.
Yeah. So
that's okay. Our workload works.
Okay.
Well, I port forward to it just and see if we can browse to it actually in a real visual browser.
I'm just gonna have a quick look at some other. Well, let's have a look at actually what's running on there first, I think, and then we'll, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course, go for it.
Before we start looking into applications, let's actually see what's kind of running on here.
I have often wondered if a cluster's only automatically fix itself in some way, but I hope that never happens.
So we have a Cilium namespace with all of the various components that are required for Cilium. We have default namespace where we have our application running. And then in Cube System, API server, various proxies, core DNS, the packet or Equinix Metal Cloud Controller Manager. Looking here for things that have rebooted a number of times or have been restarted. There are a few things, but normally we would see things restart, namely during the convergence of all these components actually coming up. And all of the Ceph components for our persistent storage. So, I mean, from the outside, everything is kind of looking okay.
Did he forget to break our cluster? I'm sure not.
I did see him saying that everything should be working okay. Everything should be. No, sorry. I saw a message from him saying that he had finished breaking everything last night. So I guess the kind of thing is we're going to have to determine what's broken here. So how do you want to go about that? I mean, do you want to deploy a new workload on there and see what happens? Or
yeah, why don't we try and modify the WordPress? Let's try and pretend we're doing an upgrade of our WordPress component. We'll change the tag on that WordPress image, and we'll see if anything breaks through there.
So, is this a deployment or is it just a single?
It's a deployment called WordPress, yeah.
Oh. Why can I not type? Oh, there we go. I'm gonna have to set that alias at some point.
Yeah, just alias it now before we forget. Yeah, so let's just change that tag, right? Like, just take the Apache off and do 4.8. We'll just force that to pull a new image and see what happens.
Yes, 1 second.
Yeah, do it now. I'll do that repeatedly as well. So that could be pulling an image. We could describe it, see the event log just to confirm, or we can just be patient, which is definitely not one of my strong suits.
No, patience has already expired. Let's see what's going on.
Yeah, we've got deploy. Or pod, yeah. It worked. It's running.
It's confusing. Okay, I wonder what he's done. I wonder what's actually broken here then.
So let's confirm our WordPress is working. I'm going to do the port forward now and browse to it. Make sure it's hitting MySQL, okay. It's getting posts, it's happy. We'll
I'll let you drive then.
Yeah, I'll just do that from... Well, I guess I could do the port forward from... Oh, sorry, you know what, I'll do it from my machine now. Okay, get pods, port forward. 80, 80, 80. And then I'll jump over to my browser. Oh, well, I haven't installed WordPress yet, but it is working. I'm sure I did that. There's no 3. Oh, well. Sure. And if I remove this, it's speaking to the database. There's nothing obvious.
Yes.
I shouldn't type here.
I wonder what we're missing here then.
Hmm. I mean, we have a working API server, our workload is intact, we have no... There's no pods aren't happy.
Yeah, I will try and deploy. I'm going to quickly deploy Nginx and expose it
Yeah, go
and
for it.
see what happens. So this is from the case examples. So we have Nginx deployed. And I am now going to expose this.
You know what? I think we are in the wrong cluster. I bet you Jason's clustered 4 and I'm just making an absolute arse of this.
Well, I'd like to imagine we've done a very good job of debugging a working cluster so far. Although this hasn't exposed yours. Oh, there we go. That may take a little while anyway as it gets an IP address. Okay. I don't know if you want to check whether 004 is the one that we should be on then.
Yep, what I'm going to do is we are going to have to jump to teammate for this one then. So I'll send you the link. I just moved it off screen. We're going to have to do this one the hard way, but that's all right.
Well, this one warmed up now.
Well, yeah. We've shown everyone how to check a working cluster. So Jason's probably going, I have no idea what they're doing. That shouldn't work. But so we'll use teleport for the Walid cluster. So let me export the kube config. You've got the command. Let me know when you're in. We can test it with typey. Let's run get pods. Are we looking with something that's a bit more broken? Ha! We see a broken thing.
1 second then. Let me just open up my terminal. Okay, I'm in.
All right, we've got a control plane node which is very much unhappy, a worker node which is very much unhappy. Our pods at least look okay in the workload namespace.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did I show the SSH command anyway? Oops. I trust you all. That's a stupid idea, but and now I need to remember how to do scrolling and tmux. There we go. All right, so I think we just need to get some control plane nodes online. So how do you want to start debugging this then? Here's our first symptom, 2 nodes offline. Do you want to SSH onto one of them? Do you want to do some kube commands? What do you want to do first?
I mean, we could do a describe nodes or see if there's any events on the node that is not ready. I think we probably can hop straight onto the SSH onto that node and see its current state.
All right, let's take a look at a JSC. All right, I'll let you drive from now on since you've got the plan.
All right. Okay. So
what would be the first thing you'd want to look at when you see that a node is offline or not ready?
So I mean, normally a node that is no longer marked as ready has either been powered off, rebooted, or the kubelet has basically stopped responding. So my first step really would be to check that the kubelet is actually up and running, which it is. Ooh, plot thickens. Okay, that's fine. But why is it not ready?
I guess we maybe want to take a look at the kubelet logs.
Yes. So
connection refused. I see a few of those scrolling past.
yeah. Okay, so we basically set that to follow so we can start to see everything that's going on. There are a lot of errors here where the kubelet is trying to. What's the IP address of this box? So it's trying to do a loop back to itself to speak to the local API server component. So the kubelet's main role is to start a bunch of static pods from static manifests, of which the API server is one of them, and also to be given instruction by those API servers in order to start things. So let's see what is actually up and running from a kube perspective, I suppose. So we have the scheduler, we have the controller, we have the kubelet, we have kube proxy. Oops. The API server isn't starting though. We can see that in the kubelet logs. And I guess the other component that we need to check is etcd, which also doesn't appear to be running. Now, if etcd is not running, it looks to me like it's probably going to be a networking issue. We kind of saw this before in that etcd needs to bind to all of the other nodes in order for it to come up successfully, and the API server needs to be able to speak to the etcd server in order for that to work as well.
Yep.
So
just from my point of view, right, is like,
yeah,
we can see the kubelet running, we can see the connection refused. I think if we can get past that first to try and identify the networking issue there, do you think that's likely to maybe, if like, assuming there's some sort of root misconfiguration or IP table blocking it, we can maybe, that would bring the other components online, or is that not a fair assessment?
Yeah, that's fair to me. I think the problem here is that etcd can't speak to the other etcd etcd members.
But that wouldn't cause a connection refused on the kubelet, would it?
Well, so the connection you're seeing there is it trying to speak to the API server. And the API server can't speak to the etcd server, so it's cascading failures, effectively.
All right, let's, I guess, should we get some etcd logs?
Yes, so... so there's etcd. Oh, these are symlinks, aren't they?
Uh-oh. Now, if I'm reading that correctly, has he explicitly downgraded one of the members of the cluster?
I think
Or
what has
upgraded the
happened
version?
here is he's actually possibly removed the etcd data from this member. It doesn't appear to have any idea of other members to join.
But why?
There's also,
sorry, on you go.
There's also the new raft line, which is the second error message, second to last log entry.
Okay, so is that line that says cluster cannot be downgraded, current version is lower than determined clustered version, a red herring?
I think so, because it's not joining. It doesn't appear to be attempting to join any other. There's no mention of it trying to join the rest of the cluster.
Well, there's a restarting member in cluster with 2 unique IDs. Okay, so can we take a look at the etcd configuration and see if it is configured to speak to the other 2 control plane nodes?
Yes, I mean we can. I'm already concerned. I'm talked myself into a corner here about something that's possibly wrong, but
Well, I don't see any config there, so why don't we take a look at the systemd unit file for etcd? Or the manifest?
Yes.
Yeah, I keep forgetting the static manifest for etcd.
So red herring here, the date has changed on the etcd manifest compared to all the others. These were all created at the same time.
Da, da, da.
Yeah, so what have you done?
All right, I'm going to need you to explain every argument past the etcd here.
Cool, everybody hold on to your hat. So effectively, this config is generated by kubeadm, and it will create these manifests and give it all of the information it needs in order for this to come up. Given that we appear to be having some sort of networking or some sort of binding issue of things coming up, I presume that something in here is not the way it's meant to be. So what have you done?
People are enjoying watching us suffer here. I've got to tell you that.
I think what we could do is possibly look at one of the other manifests on one of the other control plane nodes and see what that looks like and compare the two.
Yeah, do a side-by-side comparison, definitely.
Yep.
All right. Tell you what, why don't we... Oh, wrong button. Aljet is on to that other node. I'll just grab the... I'll close that. Okay. Export, get nodes wide. We'll just grab them all. In fact, no, we just want control plane. And we'll just grab one of those working ones. Oh. So,
how are we doing for time?
Plenty, yeah.
Okay, that's fine then. No rush. Talk amongst yourselves.
Right. Well, I mean, if I knew how to do a vertical split, that might have horizontal split. That might have helped do a side-by-side comparison. But if you could want to just scroll the top one, and we'll try and do it roughly at the same time, like synchronized shelling. Oh no, we can't do that because it's not two cursors; it's one. Ah, right. Okay. So let's see. What do we got? Well, the advertised client URL should be different, right? That's each unique node is doing its thing. Server cert's okay. Cert off true.
The list of members looks. 1 second.
The initial advertised peer URLs, would that be its own URL as well? I guess so.
Yes, I believe that's when it first starts up the first time. The initial cluster, the reason why those are different, I believe, is due to what nodes it is aware of when you actually do the kubeadm join.
Okay.
So the node on the bottom half will have only been aware of itself and whatever was itself when it was being added. The one at the top will have been the last node to join, so it will have been aware of the first two, and it being the third. That's why there's 3 there on the initial cluster flag. If we keep going down, all the ports are correct. They will loop back. A little bit further, please. Okay, 3.3, snapshot count, and the image is different.
Yep. I told you it was the image.
I'm just going to sit here quietly, I think. Okay.
Let's at least line them up, right? So what I saw in the log with that downgraded version thing made me think that because there's obviously some sort of data format change on the disk. It couldn't load the data, so it couldn't join the cluster. It's kind of where let's try, right? Reload. In fact, it's not reload.
You shouldn't need to do anything.
Oh yeah, the pod should just come up, right?
Yeah, the kubelet will check the shars or the MD5 sums or whatever and realize that the static pod manifest has changed, at which point it will restart it.
Okay. Let's make our lives a little bit simpler here. So get pods, kube system, grep etcd. Oh well, I'm on a node that's not got a working etcd, so that was smart.
Maybe on its way back up again at this point.
Yeah, so, looks like it.
Let's check the logs and find out if there's anything else wrong with etcd, I suppose.
All right, those were in varlib containers, right?
Var log containers? Oh, that's...
Yeah, you're right. And then we catted the etcd file.
So it's established, blah, 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 with all of its peers. I can see a lot of infos.
It looks happier. Yeah.
It does look a little bit happier, yep. Health is okay from the endpoint. It looks like our API server still hasn't come up though.
Kube API. I'll make sure I've not messed up that. Yeah, okay, so now we need to work out the API server problem.
So in here should be the API server logs. Yep. And that is failing to connect to localhost. And when did that fail last?
Yeah. That was 4 minutes ago.
On this box?
It's 4 minutes ago. So that's 12:29. We're 12:33 at the moment. So.
Okay. Why is that not restarted?
Okay, let's see if we can do a can't list containers. Well, that didn't work last week either. Maybe that's just that command.
I think that's, yeah. So why is the API server not restarted?
Let's make sure it's in the manifests.
Yeah. There it is. And in theory, that doesn't really look like it's been modified.
I mean, he could have been really sneaky and changed the date on that, but you're right. Probably unlikely.
Well, yeah, I mean, he could have been very sneaky. That would be very good. That would be very sneaky to do that.
Now we're giving people hints for future episodes, but...
Yes. Is there if I drive for a few minutes?
Please do, yeah, go for it.
Around. I mean, I don't feel like there's going to be any major issues with this. But let's check that etcd is actually listening to where we expect it to be listening. Well, it's listening on 2379, and something is looping back to it as well. Oh, the API server has come up whilst we've been...
Well, so hold on. Maybe we were just a bit quick then. Like, how long would it take for a member in an etcd cluster to really join the quorum and get healthy again? Were we just impatient?
etcd can take a little while, but there's also kubelets, which may... I don't know off the top of my head, but maybe that has some level of crash back before it actually comes up.
I think this node is ready. I ran get nodes. Looks like we just want to jump on to worker TW7.
Okay.
Let's see if we can get this one healthy then. So, yeah, are we confident this machine's okay? Yeah.
Well, the etcd has rejoined the quorum. The API server is looping back to the etcd instance and reporting itself as ready.
All right.
So from my perspective, this node looks okay. We've yet to try and run workload on it, so I mean, we could be back here spelunking through logs at any moment.
We'll see in a minute. Let's get this one. Okay, so this node is unready. Now, I guess very much like the first node, what we want to do is we want to check that the core components are running. So we're going to look for the API server. No. We're going to look for
No,
HTTP.
there's no API server.
No. We have a kubelet. All right, okay. So, oh no, we don't have a kubelet. We have a CSI node driver register. Okay, so this one has nothing.
So kubelet normally runs as a systemd unit or a systemd instance. So first thing really would be to check whether that actually exists.
Okay. Oh.
It's a worker. There'll be no admin.conf on here.
Of course, silly me. All right, so you wanted to check if there was a systemd kubelet.
So there we go.
We have some errors. Let's
So there's something very wrong with the config for this kubelet by the looks of things. There's about 1 terabyte of logs fly past. It looks like something has broken the flags on this so that it is... it's basically, instead of it working, it's error printing out all of the flags, as in you've misdone one of the flags. Here are all of the flags. Work out what you've done wrong. So I think we could do to be able to scroll around in his logs to work out where...
Why don't we just try stopping the service and running the kubelet command manually? Try and...
Well, so at the top of all of this output should be the line that it's finding wrong, as in we've passed the wrong flag.
Okay, let's take a look. Yeah, you're going to need that no pager.
Here we go. Unknown flag bootstrap config. So this is the issue, or this appears to be the issue. We are passing a flag that it doesn't understand.
Right, well, I guess we should go take a look at that unit file.
So this is either going to be in the kubelet config. You can pass additional flags in some of the files that the kubelet config imports, or it will be in the systemd unit file, as you mentioned. So we will start with... is it in the system these things live? There it is. So this is the config that systemd uses to start it with to begin with.
Hold on a minute. I can't let that slide by. More? Who uses more?
I do, because I want more. And yeah, no, I should use less. But
sorry, I didn't mean to ruin your train of thought there.
No, that's fine. So we can see here there is the -- bootstrap -cube config, the line on the top. Oops, my crazy mouse just gone a bit crazy there. It appears to be this line that's causing it problem.
The kubelet kube config args.
Yes, where we are passing that -- bootstrap -cube config. Now, I don't even think there's anything in the bootstrap kubelet conf anyway. There normally isn't. Am I going to now have to live with the fact that I use more and everybody mocks me for it?
I haven't used more since 2003. So.
I mean, I'm all for just basically removing the -- bootstrap -cube config, because there's nothing even in that file to read. However,
let's try it. We do have a kube config parameter after it, so the bootstrap config, I'm not really sure. Yeah, I think you're right. Let's remove that and then see where we are after that.
I mean, again, we could kind of go away and look at what is on the other nodes. Just whilst we're in here as well. Okay. I mean, the bootstrap command was the one that I had issue with. And we can... Oops.
I mean, if that worked, systemd would have tempted to restart it by now. So.
Okay. Do we need to do anything for systemd to pick those up, or should it just...
No, we didn't modify the unit file, so we don't need to do a reload. Okay. So we can just... it would appear it's still a little unhappy. Yep, we're not getting a kubelet. Let's jump back into the pager.
Invalid argument.
Oh, no idea what that was. my tmux foo is particularly poor. So it seems I don't see an error. Pairs that describe resource reserved for non-Kubernetes components.
That's just output from kubectl -h.
I don't appear to be getting much. Am I being silly?
We need to get to the top of... the problem is when kubelet fails with a wrong argument, it prints out like a meg of random additional flags that it could be.
See, I thought that yellow line meant that's the most recent restart, and I thought that would just show me what I wanted. There we go. Okay, so now that shift G took a while. I was a little worried there.
There we go. Oh, it skipped out the bits we need to see. That's helpful.
I'm going to stop it, right? So, I mean, I hate fighting with journald. So what I'm going to suggest is we do this, we cat that, we do a kubelet kubeconfig equals etc. Kubernetes kubelet.conf config equals var lib. See, that I can work with.
I see. Okay.
So it couldn't parse that kubelet config. Let me. I don't know what happened there either. And it cannot connect to the Docker daemon, which we aren't running Docker, so that makes sense.
Yeah, that's where the error is. So if we look to the left, we can see there's a W warn, I for info, E for error. E is basically the reason why it's not running. I wonder whether someone has changed this config to use Docker instead of containerd.
All right, I guess we should take a look at that then. So is that in this file here, kubelet conf?
No, that's the cert.
So it's the config here.
Config.yaml, yeah. And normally in here you would find the... Was it in here?
So I'm assuming the lack of CRI configuration maybe defaults to Docker on this version of Kubernetes. So maybe we need to actually provide the configuration for that. Should we pull up another worker node?
Yes, that'd be the quickest and easiest way. I don't think there's going to be much in here that's actually node specific.
All right, let's grab one of these. 145. Don't go on to the broken one, David. 6847. And we just really want to compare this to this config. I'll just bim it, config YAML. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. So, I don't see anything that says container D on it, or socket, or
Yeah, I'm not seeing any socket anywhere.
So maybe not this file. In fact, we can use that wee trick that you've now taught everybody. It's like, has this file even changed? No.
No.
All right, so so the kubelet can be modified with additional configuration by passing parameters to the unit file. Did we maybe miss something in there?
Yeah, I think we'll open up the unit file one more time and see what else it imports for config paths.
Okay. Where was that for system D? All right, not that one, so it's this one.
Here we go.
So it could be the QBDM flags or the default file. That's all we've got.
Yep.
Okay, varlib. He's definitely making us run around a little bit.
Yeah.
So we got, is that right? Remote, and is that socket path correct?
Well, the easiest way is to quickly compare it on the other node. So if you pop to the pane and look at the same one, they are
the same.
They are the same.
So
one other thing then to check is to whether he's actually changed the path of container D as well. So whilst that's open, if we just do an ls on the path to /run/containerd .sock.
No, it was run.
It's run containerd. Containerd.sock. Okay, that's there.
So there was that one other file, wasn't there, that could provide overrides.
/etc default
yeah.
Doesn't exist.
Okay. That's interesting then.
Yes.
So as far as we're concerned, our kubelet is configured to correctly speak to container D, but for some weird reason is trying to speak to Docker. I'm going to close this other one for now. Does the kubelet fall back to alternative runtimes if the configured runtime fails? Like, in my head, I'm thinking, are we missing somewhere the config has been overridden to tell it to use Docker, or is it doing that as a fallback because it can't speak to containerd? Do we know?
I'm not sure. Am I okay driving for a second? I just want to have a quick one more look at the kubelet logs.
Please do. I'm ready to leave.
Yeah. Hey everyone, I'm using less. So okay, so bootstrap config, we know that doesn't work. Let's set the time right. What's the how do I get to the end here so I can go up?
We've had a few comments. Nick suggests our kubelet version may have changed. Alex is saying, could it be permissions on the socket? Both things we should probably confirm. Yeah, definitely.
1 sec. Let me trying to get to a recent log. There's so many logs in here, it's really hard to find anything.
Yeah, why not just run it manually the way we did earlier, just control R that kubelet command and then just get the output from that. Would that not be a bit easier?
1 second. So, still complain about the bootstrap. When did we change that? That was quite a while ago, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, the file didn't exist, so we removed the flag.
So let's go to 5 minutes ago. No, there isn't.
So a good point from Walid to saying, couldn't we just rejoin the node? We could just use kubedm to rejoin, but you know, would be nice would be nice to dig in and fix it.
So still complaining. Let's move to, what's the time now? 12:51.
So what are you looking for?
I am just flipping forward through the logs to a more recent. Oh, so this has not been restarted since 12:44. So.
Oh, I stopped the kubelet
stopped.
to run it manually. Sorry.
Cool. No, that's fine.
Now it wants a reload.
Do we need to, with the new config?
Daemon. Oh, there we go. Silly me. And start. Yeah, I wonder if we fixed it and then just forgot to start it there. I'll say we forgot to start it as I look shifty.
No.
Well, we still have no kubelet, so we can grab the logs one more time. Oh, there is a last flag, isn't there? I keep forgetting. And scroll. Let's see if we can find the start this time.
This is 2 a.m. These aren't the right logs.
I think it's last. No. Shift G, let it jump down. There we go.
Okay, what are we complaining about?
Config has been deprecated. Unknown cloud provider. Let's put on our no page here. If anyone in the chat knows how to just get the last 50 lines, I have a bit of a brain blank at the moment and I just can't remember.
Oh dear.
I'm going to Google it. Journal, CTL, last. Yeah, there we go. Last 100 lines I'll do. -N. Okay. Not super responsive to my control C, but hopefully that's just a standard out flush. Alright, okay. -N 100 please. There we go.
Use pod manifest path instead.
Unknown cloud provider external worries me more than the config being deprecated. Let's check the version. Oh, for 147? This is a 1.20 zero cluster.
I mean, in the real world, I'm not entirely sure how many people would find a version of kubelet that's like 3 years old. And
you happy with that?
I'm very happy with.
Oh, well, we actually had a 119.4 available. He's maybe just overkilled the binary. 00. I'll put it back to the version that it thinks installed. So I think he's been out of his way to find a really old kubelet binary and just dropped it in the machine.
Yeah, I mean, so the error that you were getting there is, I guess cloud providers weren't even a thing back then. But yeah, effectively, that was mean. I like that. I mean, congratulations. That was mean.
That's just my alias that I got wrong. I don't actually know on a worker note how to.
You won't be able to. There's no admin.com for or anything. I'll need to go to one of the other ones.
Alrighty.
So just pop back to the control plane or your local terminal.
Ta-da!
Okay.
That was a good one. I like that.
That was good. Well done. That was interesting. I mean, yeah, it can happen. It's just I after watching last week, I was in my head. I was like, don't get dragged into looking in the wrong place. Don't get dragged down the rabbit holes. And that's exactly what's occurring right here.
So actually, I missed Nick's comment, but he called it earlier. I reckon it's an old kubelet binary. Well done, mate. All right.
Well, I mean, maybe I should just sit and read the YouTube comments then and do this much quicker.
Yeah, I never thought to check the version. You obviously never thought to check the version. I just that was
I suppose why would I though? Like, Kluster API has installed all this. It's all installed the same version. Why? But
okay. Nice work, Jason. Let's jump over to Walid's cluster.
Was that Jason's cluster? Was it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
We got there.
We did.
Doesn't matter. I feel like maybe I should have checked the version correctly, but I think we did go slow and we talked and we thought about it. I guess it just never occurred to us. And there was the etcd issue as well, which we fixed. So a couple of really smart issues there. All right, Walid's cluster. Let's try teleport this time, so we don't have to tmux and I don't have to remember all those weird Emacsy style shortcuts.
Okay.
Well, let's just jump on to our control plane node. You should be able to join a session. I will zoom in on the terminal. Yeah, I think that looks all right. Now, Walid did tell me up front there's potentially a README available. He didn't tell me where. I know you're in the chat, Walid. If you want to save me a few clicks, feel free to tell us where the README is. What I'll do first is my lovely alias. Have you joined a session? Yeah, okay.
I am. I just needed to get my my authenticator access up and running. I'm now in there. Right then, what have we got? Oh, I've got a broken cluster.
All right. He says it's not on this control plane node, so I'm going to pop open. There we go. We do have our README. Hi, David. Thank you for giving me and the auditor a chance to check cluster 005. The auditors say things are not always as they seem. The first appearances deceive many. Also, a user passed by and reported pods cannot access the API server. She was testing with curl from inside a pod to verify with this command. Best of luck, Walid. I love that you've set a scene. Thanks.
Yeah, I like that. Set the mood.
Yeah. Let's get our alias on this machine as well. And we did, I think the get nodes failed on that other machine, didn't it? So probably going to fail from here too. So I guess it's the same. I mean, our starting steps are just going to be the same, right? We want to check for the core components running on this machine and see if we can identify some really obvious things up front. So, kubelet.
You didn't grep.
We do have a kubelet. We do have an API server. That's all we really need to get started. We have an etcd. So things look all right up front.
But so the error that we had was that we didn't get an error, but kubectl should speak to you used the admin.conf on this one, didn't you?
I did.
And that will have its local address and port in there right at the top.
Yeah. So let's go over our. I mean, we could change that to 127.0.0.1. Would that work?
Yeah, that would be fine. And I believe it should be signed for localhost. If not, then you'll get a TLS error. But I mean, we can just look at net stats to see if it's actually up and running on that port.
All right. So first of all, I'm gonna. So that IP address should be the IP address of this machine, right?
It should, yeah.
So we've got one IPv4 87.38. Yep. LN, what would you use here?
AN and grep for 6443.
Yeah, it's there.
Hmm.
We have an established connection to that, so I'm going to assume it's all right.
But get nodes didn't work. Is that right?
Yeah, maybe I'll let it actually time out and give me an error this time. Timed out. SCD timed out, not the API server.
Okay. That's strange.
I hate SCD problems.
Is etcd running on this
Yes.
node then?
Well, I mean, it looks like it, of course.
It certainly does.
So is there a way for us to check the health? I mean, if etcd is running, to me, that normally means that it's healthy because it wouldn't be able to join the cluster otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing probably would be check the etcd logs, find out what it's saying and how healthy it thinks it is.
Okay. In fact, we can just go to
Varlog container.
Yeah. Dun dun dun. Oh no. Is there bad data in our etcd?
Failed to apply. Error is etcd no space.
So it looks like a value is 2-bit. Oh, no disk.
No disk space. I'm surprised we actually managed to log on if that was the case.
No, the disk looks all right. And although it's running in a container, let's take a look at our manifest for this and see if there's any weird configuration.
Oh, it's running read only or something. Possibly before we start.
We do have a volume mounts, but I don't believe those. Oh, that is the data directory varlib etcd. And that volume is a host path here. No, that's not the same one, is it? No. etcd data. Where's etcd data? Oh, here. Varlib etcd. It's not a special mount path or anything, is it? No.
No, that's not an issue.
Yeah. So it's not the host, which leads me to it must be something to do with the. I don't know.
I'm not an etcd expert. If I can kind of.
I want to go back to this. Let me go through it a little bit slower. So I'm not worried about the commands. I don't think there's anything there. You can't tell etcd not to write to this location. We've got varlib etcd as the data dir. So let's confirm that's where we mount it. Yeah. So varlib etcd, varlib etcd. So that looks all right. I'm not fussed about the probes. The resource, there's no constraints or limits. I mean, there's nothing there that makes me think that can't run. And etcd is running, but it's failing.
Yes. And does etcd have a fixed size database? Is there too much in it, or?
So
I wouldn't.
Where's my
etcd does have a command line thing, doesn't it?
It does, but I can never remember how to do it, and I always fall back on one of these things. So,
well, there'll be a lesson to you. Google is the answer.
Always. We don't actually have the etcd command line tools. And if I could remember how to do a nsenter into that mount file system, I would. In fact, we could just do that, right? Let's ped 398079 lsns ns enter. Let's see if I can remember the syntax on this. ns, we want the mount namespace. Is that not how you do that? Oh no, there's a number in the namespace mount, and it ls does it. I'll remember. I'll get there. Yeah, ns enter 402. This is the last time I'm trying. I know there's a way to do this. Screw you, ns enter. ns enter m.
If not, you might just need to install etc, download it from.
I know. I should. 398079. I'm going to try one more thing.
Okay.
Or ped. Okay. Maybe I just need that. No, right. Fine. Forget it. I'm going to Google that for the next time, because that's twice I've felt that nsenter would have been really useful.
We just need etcd client, don't we?
Well, that keeps failing.
We may just have to grab the etcd binary then from.
Okay. Tripped up by the silly things.
I think I'm going to grab the lot by the looks of things.
AMD 64. Curl L O. Extract. That's more than I wanted.
Oh my goodness.
It's a D. There we go. Okay, so it's a D CTL.
Oh, what? Did you grab macOS one?
Why am I on my host? Sorry.
Oh, you're in the proc file system trying to download it there.
I'm shooting myself in the foot far too much here. Anyway, etcd CTL. All right.
Cool.
Where's that cheat sheet? So I've exported all those things, which should get us started. Let's test this command works. All right, we have the ability to query etcd.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah, I think there's just binary keys inside of that, to be fair.
So looking at effectively the logs for, not the logs, the Kubernetes documentation for etcd, there are a number of things that we can actually kind of start to look at to determine kind of the current state of it. Things like the snapshot size and things like that.
Walid has pointed us to a link in the docs, etcd op guide maintenance. I'm assuming that's going to have some commands on it.
Space quota.
Yeah.
That sounds. So table endpoint status, I guess.
Do you want to type if you know what you're doing?
I do. I do not know what I'm doing, but I've been kicked out again. 1 second.
I'm just going to type health and see if anything does anything. No. I should know more etcd stuff.
Well, I mean, if you're lucky, you never really have to touch etcd. Which node are you on? M5.
M5 RZJ. Yep.
Okay.
I'm not sure what's happened. That's weird.
Oop.
Yeah, my screen seems to have. Since you joined, it just went a bit ski-whiff, but I'll just keep scrolling down manually. It says it's healthy.
Yeah.
Should we run that compaction?
I just want to get the. 1 second. There was a size command which should.
Yeah, I saw the size command for setting it. I never saw a way to query it. Let's see. Quota backend size.
Whoa. Do we need to? Of course, scrolling's a bit weird sometimes.
Yeah, I've had a bit of issues there with it.
Watch version blah blah blah. Snapshot status.
Yeah, if we do that write out table endpoint status, did you run that? There's also an etcd control alarm list, which I think will list out some problems.
No space. So I think we're getting close to working out where we're looking here.
Okay, there was also the in fact, let me just drop this command in and see if it works. Which seems to list something.
Defrag.
Yeah, there we go. So we've got an endpoint status there looking at the table, and we can see the size, the DB size is 18 meg. So I guess we're going to have to increase that or do a compaction to free up some space.
Yes. So compact will compact the event history, as we can see here. I'm guessing our events, we have that many events that there's no space left. So
so will we just make it really big?
Yeah, it's entirely up to you, really.
Well, I've got that command from the maintenance guides. Let's set this to, we don't want 16 meg. I'm going to go for a gig. Oh no, you start etcd with a quota backend size. Okay, so we're going to have to modify the static manifest to change the quota backend size. Do we have one? No. Okay, so (102.4). You happy?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure about static manifest. Will that automatically restart? Do we need to?
Yes, it will do. Any change to static manifest will be detected by kubelet. It keeps track of all of those files. So it should restart etcd.
Well, Jason has now joined us. Hey, man. We spent a solid hour on your cluster. Thanks for that. All right, let's see.
So we should be able to do that right endpoint status again. etcd's been up. It's not been restarted.
It's not running. That's just a Kube API server, isn't it? So I've now broken it. Tail etcd. Oh, yeah, we need more. I've made it worse. Invalid value, flag if I missed that.
Okay, it doesn't like the math there that you've added in.
Alright, I guess I can just type a big number. Yeah, of course, that shell expansion is not going to work in a static manifest. There we go. So we had a write command. I loved that Control R just worked in that, and that's a browser window. That was awesome. And I changed directory, didn't I? Where did I?
It's in your home directory, isn't it?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so write out table. Ugh, it's still 18 meg.
What does the compact actually do then? Will that not help us here?
So there seems to be a defrag and a compact. Will we try both?
I don't really know what defrag does, but
I remember what it used to do in my old hard drives back in the day.
Yeah.
Compact. Oh, it needs one argument. I should look at the docs, but
the revision number, I think, for compact.
Did I pick a random number?
It's version 3, isn't it? Of etcd. I'm looking at the etcd logs here.
Is it just the 3 at once? No, I think it's getting the revision from that write out table. Oh, that's the wrong terminal. I need to stop doing that. Write out. Is there a revision here? Or is it grabbing it from that version? 3, 4, 13. Alright, I'll just try 3 then. That would be a nope.
Out of range, required revision has been compacted. What?
Yeah, there is some sort of revision in the write out JSON. So, sorry, I keep going to the wrong thing. That write out command, I guess the -o JSON is going to give us more. Or write out equals JSON. This is why you should read the documentation instead of and to have JQ. I don't see the there's the revision there. Oh, there, 730154. 730154. Compacted.
Okay.
Let's go back to the table output and see if it's still got an alarm, and it does. Although the DB size is now only 5 meg, so I have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah, how's it still complaining now that we've reduced the... It appears to be no longer the leader either.
Should we go to the leader, I guess? Like,
I don't know whether we need to replicate this across all of the members.
let's try it. We already have another machine here. We'll copy the etcd cheat sheet. Where's my cheat sheet? To set up etcd. And, oh, I don't have the binary again. hello. Tar etcd. What was that write out command? Endpoint status. Dash dash write out table. See, one of the good things about this is obviously we have no idea what we're doing with etcd, but I feel like I'm learning how to work with etcd.
I do feel as though I'm learning a little bit. I mean, I have written a bunch of code around Raft before and found that very weird. But a learning experience, but finding out how I guess this database sits on top of Raft is kind of interesting.
Yeah. I'm going to run that defrag, and then this is the leader, so I'm going to do that write out JSON again, get the revision ID, and then we're going to run compact on 730.150.54.
Did we did the defrag already yet?
Yeah. Did that revision ID change? No. 7301. That worked on the other machine, didn't it?
It did, yeah. It's Raft revision.
Oh, required revision has been compacted. So.
Oh, okay. But it's still no space. Still have the same error.
Yeah, the DB size is now only 2 meg.
Well, we're saving disk space one way or another here.
All right, let's see. Walid has dropped us a hint. He's feeling sorry for us now. Check the etcd manifest in here. So I guess something different on this node, perhaps. Yeah, I'll let you scroll through this. I'm.
Looks like my screen hasn't updated with this particular. We're on.
Oh, we're on the. Oh, I don't remember. BJL W4 node.
Okay. Check the etcd manifest in here. Okay. Quota backend bytes kind of stands out to me there.
Oh yeah, it has been changed here.
Before we actually change that, let's. The dates on a few things are different here, but definitely etcd has been modified.
Yep.
I'm just going to pop to the other node and see how that one looks. So I'm just in the other window at the moment. I'm on M5R.
Yeah, I've got it.
Okay. I'll use less so people. Oh, I can't.
Oh, you want me to type a pipe? Oh, you got it.
Okay, so that line isn't even. Oh, there. That's the correct backend bytes that you put in, wasn't it?
Yeah, I made up that number.
Yeah. Okay.
We could probably just take that out, I suppose. Or maybe we should copy it from the other node so they're the same consistently across all the members of the cluster. Let me check the third control plane node and just tell you if there's anything different. So Kubernetes manifest, has anything here been changed? No, this etcd.
No, this is fresh. Does it even have the thing in there? It does not.
So I guess we just remove the quota backend bytes from all of them and let it restart.
Okay. So I've removed it from the one control plane node that begins with B. If you want to just remove it from that node that you're on there.
Oh, this is just a less, isn't it?
Oh, yep.
There's me trying to vim my way through it. So done.
Alrighty.
Did you removed it from the one I set, right?
I have, yeah.
Okay.
So there is no maximum sizes on things now.
What was it? Endpoint status? Oh, status endpoint. Yeah. Right out is such a terrible name for that flag.
Yeah. I'm still getting the no alarm, the no space alarm. I don't know whether this will take some time to.
Yeah, if our SSD's even restarted yet, I guess. 1325. Yeah, potentially. Let's give it a minute.
I mean, we can see whether kubectl is actually giving us a working cluster at this point.
Yeah, why not? Every time I click on that, I really should have used real certs, but anyway. Let's go to this is 5, export, get nodes. Hey, we're back in action. Our pods all running. grep-v. etcd is coming up on one of them.
Mm-hmm.
System, discrete pod. Okay, we've got one more thing to fix, it looks like.
What is that?
So which node is this? I really should have checked. So contain Walid. Oh, that was a stupid thing to grep on, wasn't it? No, because it's not an inverse. There we go. We want to jump onto M5 RZG then, which we are. Now, what was that error again? Sorry, scatterbrained. Yeah, it can't open hosts.
Etsy hosts.
So is it maybe using host networking or something? It is, but it should, right? Does etcd use host networking?
Yes, yeah, because it binds to localhost. This looks like a file issue, though. Trying to access that Etsy hosts.
Let's get proper logs from etcd, right?
Yeah.
Just cat it. Older, new, older, new.
I'm still getting them.
Yeah, it's still the size thing, isn't it?
What's the time currently? So these are from a minute ago.
Yeah, Walid says it's just 3 more simple things. Yes, thanks, Walid.
Oh, I deeply regret upsetting you last week, but I think you have definitely taken your revenge here.
All right, what's going on?
What have you done? Blah blah blah. That looks fine.
Yeah, nothing.
Is there anything else in the config, in the flags that are being passed? So advertising fine, data blah blah blah. All the peers are all there. What are we missing here? I mean, I'm not actually seeing. This all looks fine to me.
It does. I wonder if that log is just well, wrong. Let's just check. Error opening varlib kubelet pods etsy hosts. I'm going to just copy this file path actually. So why would that fail?
Is this an old error? Are we doing a really long loop back, 5-minute wait before restarting it or something?
You know, it's definitely possible, of course. Var log containers tail etcd. No, it's still still moaning. But I feel like we fixed this error. The no space one.
Yes, no, absolutely.
Let's run. Right, we have access to etcd. We were running endpoint health. Good. We run endpoint status. And we're still getting that alarm.
Oh, yes. His leader, his learner, blah, blah, blah. The DB size is tiny compared to where it needs to be.
Did we actually fix all those manifests? Quota.
Yes, there was none in the third one.
So that is R8, M5, and this is also R8. It's going to be, I'm sure I've got multiple windows in each thing now, but
what have you done now?
there is no quotas in any of this.
I think etcd is still restarting.
It is, you're right.
Why are you restarting? So, I mean, yeah, it restarted 2 minutes ago.
It looks like etcd is popular. Jason also tried to do some etcd carnage on his cluster, but it didn't.
He did do some etcd carnage on his cluster.
Some more etcd carnage on his cluster, but didn't break it in the way he thought.
Setting maximum servers already initialized. Starting as a member. Yep. Added as members as expected. Started streaming with peers. And then we got the same error. No space.
Shall we run a compaction on them all again? Just
found invalid file directory ABC. That's the one that you created, isn't it? So we can ignore that. You just made sure that you could actually write to the.
I did, yeah.
So we're still just getting effectively the error that we're still getting is no space.
Even though we removed the quota bytes, we've restarted etcd. Right, well, we're approaching the end of our time, so if you want to throw us a hint to get us past this, that would be appreciated. Do you want to do an out JSON and just see if there's anything? I want to see the revision ID. I want to know if it's changed. I want to I feel like I should check it across the nodes. Yeah, the revision's the same. So 730.154.
Revision is the same, yeah.
Okay, Walid has given us a command which I will type in. Endpoint and paint. That's wishful thinking. Status, right.
At this point, definitely.
egrep. I wish I could copy this. 9 star.
Yeah, the revision is the same one that we used.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna. Should it be a compaction we're running?
I'll do a defrag and a compact again, I guess.
730.154. There's a. Yeah, it's already been compacted. Jason, did we clear the alarms? They probably don't clear themselves. Clear alarms. No.
Alarms clear.
Let's see what we've got. Alarm list and disarm. Alarm list.
Alarm disarm.
Disarm. It's gone. All right. Let's. Do we need to do that in all the nodes? I hope not. Let's go to the.
So.
Let's go back into our container logs and see if this stops restarting now.
Oh, hello.
It's healthy.
I'll take a health aid, okay? So clear your alarms, people. Apparently. That's my tip of the day.
Get pods grep. Are they all running? There we go. Almost. Oh. So I think we may have to clear the alarm on the other two nodes. Doesn't look like that is automatic. Oh no, although Jason does say that it's cluster wide. Or maybe I'm just being very impatient. But we can just check. We've got them all open, right? So did I not download it on this machine? I'm sure I've got it somewhere on all machines. Oh, I'm going to the wrong directory, that's why. There we go, okay. So
oh, you didn't CD. Okay.
I know. It's I'm being particularly wonderful today. And I won't have all those exports, will I? Cheat sheet. This is now my favourite web page in the world. What happened there?
They're all running now.
Oh, are they?
Just don't get. Yes.
All right.
This took some time. Oh my goodness.
Wow. That was fun.
Well, your definition of fun is different to mine. I mean, databases. Well, we need to check that the application's working.
You mean the WordPress app?
Yes.
I actually don't think that ever broke. I think it was quite happy just working away in the background. Maybe we never tested it.
Oh, I mean,
let's restart it.
there was his README which said that they were trying to do curls internally. I wonder if it's broken internal DNS or something or other.
All right, let's see if this pod restart gets it online and running. We can jump inside it. We could test quickly pod networking quickly.
I can tell you what's missing here from doing a quick get pods. It's always DNS. Core DNS isn't running. Do a get pods minus capital A and grep for DNS.
Okay, so WordPress, the port forward worked, it just couldn't, yeah, okay, so it was not good service discovery. Sorry, I'll use this actual shared window. So namespace get pods. I know. And cube. Too many windows. I need to contain myself next time. Kubernetes. I can't even spell Kubernetes now. We have no kube DNS. Now, how harsh has he been? Do we have?
There's also the API server and things like that I'm missing.
All right, like there's a bit of a problem there. 2 unready pods. Let's describe our deployment. don't see a scheduling error, which is what I was kind of expecting.
We're probably replica failure, replica create, minimum replicas, blah, blah, blah.
Why have we not got a scheduling error here?
I wonder if that's because all events are missing. They would have been in the database.
Oh, we don't have an API server or scheduler. We don't. We don't have a control plane.
Yes, I was wondering about that. And I wonder if he's done something funny with the manifest so that they're in a namespace that doesn't exist.
All right, I'll take a look at Kube API server. We've got a pod, namespace kube system.
Yeah, that's all fine.
We have an API server. Maybe it's just not come online yet. Should we just reboot them? I mean, taking etcd off is normally quite catastrophic. This could just be a side effect.
Side effect.
Yeah, I'll just kill -9. I'm not going to get my all complete. Copy the PID. Give it a second. Right, okay, it's back. Does that now show up? No. So our API server logs are what we need, right?
So why is core DNS not coming up?
Because there's no scheduler. Let's cat this. Do you see an error?
I am.
I know I'm scrolling fast.
Yeah, if you pop out of here and look at the scheduler logs.
Scheduler. I can't reach the API server.
So the scheduler can't reach the. What have you done now? Honestly, this is a good one.
Oh, it's getting connection refused on port 663 on 14540. Let's check the IP address. 145 68 143. All right, so has the port changed? That looks all right to me. Secure port 683. I'm pretty sure we should remove that insecure port. That's not even a thing anymore, right? Has this file changed? Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think insecure. That's not been a thing for a while. I'm just going to look and see if I see anything. Should the Lioness probe be going over that IP, or should it be using the pod IP? Like 127.0.0.1. I mean, we haven't checked to see if this is restarting it or if it's running but not working. Timeouts and period seconds look okay.
Yeah.
They don't worry me. Actually stressful.
Luckily, can't see any grey hair underneath this packet hat, so I'm good to go.
Let's. The API server's not there anymore.
If you edited the file, then it'll be restarted.
Ah, yeah, you're right. Okay, so this is PID 7417. Is that going to change?
I mean, I can curl localhost 6443 is fine, so I can loop back to the API server.
And secure.
Wow.
Yeah, that's good.
So there's nothing.
This must be networking.
But what though? What have they?
So how do the API servers elect a leader? Because
to do it through the etcd, don't they?
Cilium's okay. Are you okay for time? Because I know we've went a bit over.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay. Jason is telling us to use the Hubble UI. We do have it available. I guess it wouldn't hurt to take a look with it.
Okay.
It's a good idea. Hubble is a really cool product as part of the Cilium CNI. That will show us if there's any network policies or traffic being blocked, etc. I don't know what port it runs on, and now I feel like I'm too committed to change my command from here. Not configured.
Oh.
Cilium. Get myself in a pickle. Describe pod UI. Give me a port 80. I really should have just took a shot on that. Alright, so if we browse to this IP address of port 8080, nothing's going to happen. Alright, can't be bored fighting with that. Okay. Walid says, think simple Kubernetes resources. So let's just stick to what we know. Are there any network policies? Yes. Describe netpol MVP01. That just seems to be an allow everything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Although created yesterday at 6 PM, so I'm going to delete it.
I mean, I suppose allowing egress traffic none, would that block any external?
Actually, this was a block all.
Yep.
Well, he just given us hints. He's still feeling pity. What hides pods? Right? Why would something not show up on get pods? Let's take a look at the. No, I'll get that.
Yeah, I'm starting to draw a blank here.
Right, I only have a few minutes, and then I really need to leave. So we'll go for 3 more minutes. If we don't get it, we don't get it. It's fine. We will put the postmortem into the README. Walid will add all of his notes to tell us what he did. We can all learn from that.
I can imagine his notes are going to be a book at this rate. There's been that many. He must have spent a week doing this.
I'm gonna run a get all, see if I can see anything. I don't want to give up. He said check pod security policies. Ah. So the speaker will be metal LB, the rook is rook, that no privilege. I'm going to describe it. What's this doing? Allow privilege escalation true, run as any, run as any, run it. I don't think that's... Am I misreading that? It's called no privilege, but it doesn't appear to be blocking anything. Let's just delete it. Well, there you go, he's dropping some knowledge on us now. No privilege hides static pods.
Ah, okay.
I had
did not know
no idea.
I mean, I've hidden static pods by putting, if you put a different namespace that doesn't exist in the static pod, kubelet will start it, but the API server doesn't know what to do with it.
Okay.
So with that gone, we should see things like the API server.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they'll need a wee cheeky push though.
I shouldn't think so.
I've given up just assuming I know anything anymore, so. Alright, what machine are we on? That is M5, R8. And I'll give this last one a push because we're wrapping up. See if we even have a working API server yet. It's so weird that I'm creating an API server and I can't see it on a pod list.
It is quite confusing, isn't it? Yep, still can't see it.
He says there's one last issue, something to do with the kernel settings for forwarding. I mean, definitely out of my depth there.
So that's etc CTL, is that right?
What have we got?
And what's the date on these?
Oh, there's some Cilium configurations here.
So he's disabled something, I guess, in /etc sysctl.conf. Or he's done it manually, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's been done manually. Those files look fine to me.
I'm going to need a lie down after this one. Man alive, I've never been so stressed in my life. This is insane.
I'm going to concede. I'm sorry. I don't think we're going to get it, are we?
It doesn't look like it. The API server is still hidden inside the API, which is kind of amusing.
Yeah. All right, let's call it. Like we're we couldn't fix Walid's cluster. I'm looking forward to reading what you actually done and learning.
Yes.
I love that trick with the no privilege. I mean, even looking at that pod security policy, I was like, it's not doing anything. I definitely need to research that more and understand why that hides the static pod benefit, the static pods. Like, right now I don't understand that at all.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Walid. Those were both extremely tough.
I don't know if thank you is the right word to use in there. That was brutal. I will take at least we got one cluster up and we got kind of partially towards this one.
Yeah.
But that was pretty brutal. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Dan, thank you for working through that with me. It is stressful. It is fun. I'm learning stuff. I hope others are learning stuff too. Thank you for everyone that joined us for that massive 2-hour session. All right.
I'm going to go for a lie down.
Yeah. let's take a nice break. Well deserved. All right. I'll speak to you soon. Everyone else, thanks a lot. I'll see you soon.
Bye, everyone.